Hi, my name is Elizabeth Burnside. I'm a clinical psychologist and I work for the North Wales Clinical Psychology Training Programme. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about acceptance and how it might be useful to you, especially in the middle of a pandemic. You might have come across the term acceptance as a helpful strategy to manage emotional distress or life stressors. And acceptance is a key part of some psychological therapies, such as acceptance and commitment therapy and dialectical behaviour therapy. Acceptance has several meanings, and some of those are frankly quite off-putting, like the idea that whatever's happening, you should just grin and bear it and keep a stiff upper lip and all that. But what if your face refuses to grin or your lips quivering all of its own accord? Not only are you then suffering from whatever is deeply troubling you, you now also have the sense that you've failed to cope, that you're not up to scratch. And so your initial problem just got bigger, not smaller. The pandemic situation that we're in now has affected every one of us, and in different ways. It's fair to say that most of us are facing major changes to what our average day looks like. There's new worries, such as illness, money, whatever the future might hold, concern about vulnerable people that we care about. And then there's the new now, spending all day at home, not seeing people, maybe having to entertain and educate small children, trying to get on with our partners, trying to get on with our work. So what do we mean by acceptance if it's not just about putting up with stuff? There are two main uses of the word that can be helpful to our well-being. The first is about accepting situations that you're not able to change or influence, including a lot of what the pandemic has brought to us. Accepting the limits of your influence in situations like this is a wise choice. It's difficult to choose what to do next if your energy and efforts are focused on trying to change things that can't be changed, or protesting about why things shouldn't be the way they are. If you can come to terms with the fact that unchangeable things are the way they are, even if it isn't right and none of it was your doing, then you can think more clearly about what's important to you and how you're going to handle a situation. The second meaning of the word acceptance is about a more active embrace of uncomfortable feelings or sensations and thoughts, which can be really helpful if that means that you're able to take important steps in your life to do things that matter. Often we're held back from doing something that could be really important because it feels too hard or too scary, too anything. In this sense of the word, actually changing a situation might require full acceptance of the presence of uncomfortable feelings and other experiences. A better word for this that's sometimes used is willingness. Am I willing to have some uncomfortable stuff while I step up to the mark and be the person that I want to be? Acceptance is rarely the easy or the pleasant option. Essentially, it is the opposite of avoidance. In the external world, it's completely natural to avoid things that feel or look uncomfortable. That's what keeps us safe and alive. Some form of avoidance are quick reflexive actions like the automatic recoil we experience if we touch something hot. And others are more conscious decisions, such as not getting too close to other people during the pandemic, or in normal times avoiding walking down dark alleyways on your own. All sensible actions. In the internal world, we also avoid in the same ways, some automatic and some with more awareness. Have you ever been in the middle of work that's involved a tricky task, maybe writing something difficult? Ever find that just after some creeping doubts show up that you just can't do it, or you're not good enough, or you don't know enough, and the next minute you find yourself scrolling through Facebook or watching cat videos on your phone? Briefly, you'll feel better, but later on, how does that work out for you? Maybe while you're looking at Facebook, you also notice that other people appear to be happier, richer, more popular, more successful than you, and you don't feel great about that. So what do? Maybe you order some new fancy clothes, or write a list of everything you're going to do to be a better person. Maybe buy another new textbook that promises to finally make you good enough to know enough, but actually sits on the shelf along with all the other unread must-reads. Sometimes the things we do to make ourselves feel better get slightly uglier. We start to want to unfairly blame other people for the way we feel or for things that have gone wrong, or make snide comments about someone else just to take the edge off our own feelings of inadequacy. It's hard not to. It does work for a while, and none of us are above any of these ways of operating. The truth is, as humans, difficult thoughts and feelings will always show up, and our attempts to fix or avoid these can sometimes get out of hand and start to dominate most of what we do with our time. In my opinion, this is fueled by media images and advertising that seem to suggest that everyone else is having a shiny, happy life. And if you're not feeling shiny and happy yourself, then there's clearly something quite wrong with you that needs to be fixed. So how would it feel to acknowledge that it's really okay to not feel that great? It's okay to be scared about the pandemic or to be struggling to get your work done, and maybe to feel envious about other people who aren't struggling so much. It's okay to have times when you feel down, worried or scared. So how do we do acceptance work? If you're at all familiar with mindfulness, you'll notice that there's quite a lot in common with acceptance and mindfulness practices. The idea is really that you want to be familiar with accepting difficult stuff so that when you might need it in real life, it's available to you as a choice. But it's quite good to start practicing. And I like to practice with something quite physical that I find uncomfortable. You could choose something else. It might be a noise that you find really unpleasant, maybe the sound of your children bickering, or a smell that you really find quite repulsive. It could be something visual. For example, if you're afraid of heights, maybe being in a high place. The sense is just to find something that you feel makes you feel a little bit out of your comfort zone, and that's a place that we're going to practice acceptance. I am not good with cold and certainly recoil at getting into cold water. So, to put my money where my mouth is, I'm going to purposely walk into this cold water, and you can do the same with whatever chosen task you've got, an experience that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. To make this an acceptance experience, I'm going to embrace an attitude of being really willing to have whatever this experience holds. I can't say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm going to approach it with curiosity. As something that I want to experience fully and learn more about. For example, as I get further into the water, I'm starting to notice where I can feel that experience most strongly, where it is in my body. How would I actually describe it if I was explaining it to somebody else? If you do something like this, see if you can expand around that experience, make room for it, and allow it just to be exactly as it is. Also notice the parts of your body where you can't feel it. Become aware of where in your body it starts and stops. So where are the edges of it? Where is the dividing line between the uncomfortable experience and relative comfort? Notice any urges that you might have to recoil. And again, with real curiosity, notice how the experience shifts and changes subtly over time. Imagine how would it be if you knew this feeling might be there always? Could you allow it to just be exactly as it is? Consider how this might apply to other aspects of your life. What might you be able to do if you were willing and able to experience and fully have some of the more uncomfortable stuff that life deals us? Might you be able to get involved with some of the things that you've dreamed of and are important to you? Might you be able to give more time to the people and things that you really care about? Might you be more able to be the kind of person you really want to be in the world? Next time some difficult emotion shows up, before you react, take time to pause and explore it. Feel the feeling. Name and describe the experience to yourself. Remember, you don't have to get rid of it to do what you think is the right thing. Acceptance is a tricky customer, so I'd just like to warn you about some common traps that people can fall into when starting to use this strategy. Firstly, I still find myself harbouring a secret hope that if I get good enough at accepting, then one day I'll have no more troubles. Life will be a breeze if only I could become the perfect acceptor. Can you see the catch here? I'm no longer accepting, I'm making a deal. I'm willing to have the hard stuff, but only if that makes it finally go away. It doesn't go away. I bet there's nobody watching this video who doesn't wish that their life was just a little bit better in some way. Today, I'm not happy with my weight, I'm not happy with my work achievements, and I'm not even happy with this video. Secondly, do we think acceptance is always best and avoidance is always bad? No, absolutely not. Sometimes it's a really good idea to act on uncomfortable feelings and do things that fix them. It's about choice and knowing when acceptance is going to be more helpful than escape. It's about balance and noticing when avoidance is dominating so much that you're not able to be the person you want to be. Acceptance isn't about relinquishing control of your life. It's about taking control by doing what matters to you, even if that means taking some of the uncomfortable stuff with you.